Back.
What the hell?
And now we should have sound. And then...
This is it.
And we have sound. Okay. I don't know what that bug is, but it loves me. Okay. So I can mute that now. All right. Audio hijack. That's what I want. All right. Starting Dementia Radio. And recording in 3, 2, 1.
Recorded live on DementiaRadio.org, it's the Funny Music Podcast. Brought to you by FuMP.com, where you can download new free comedy songs twice a week. Now, here's your hosts, Devo Spice and the great Luke Ski.
Hey, Devo Spice.
Hey, Luke Ski.
We have pre-recorded interviews this week.
We have lots of pre-recorded interviews this week because this was one of those weeks where it's a three song week, so I was planning on it being a long show, and I was like, hey, we should probably pre-record at least one of you. And well, Spaff and Brian Woodbury both volunteered to pre-record, so I have 2 pre-recorded interviews, and we were going to have the Knuckleheadz on live, and then at the last minute Stevie had to help Jax with his homework. So that's one of the problems of having an 8-year-old in your band, is that they still have to do homework. So, welcome to episode 559 of the Funny Music Podcast for Thursday, May 4th, 2021. Begone, yon Fartburglar! Apparently, I'm channeling Shoebox this week for no reason whatsoever. Okay.
Let's get caught up with what Devo and Luke have been up to since last week. Or else Devo, if Luke failed and didn't show up.
Hey, what?
No, he's right.
So, Luke, what you been up to?
Well, still haven't gotten that replacement crown that I've been waiting for since last week. So at this point, I have no clue. I guess I'm probably just going to have to wait until the 10th. Which is this coming Wednesday, and I don't know. So, still have a stupid space in my mouth where there should be, a crown. Outside of that, what else did I do over the past week? This past Sunday, Carrie had a birthday party over Zoom for Alexanne, who turned 9. So that was fun. We played Quiplash, and some of the other people playing Quiplash besides Alexanne were Beth Kinderman's son William, and one of their neighbor kids named Logan, who I've met a couple of times. So basically, the point is, like, there were some grown-ups playing and a bunch of kids playing. So when I was playing, it wasn't. That particular game of Quiplash, it wasn't about pick which one I think is the funniest, but about pick which one was written by a child. because at a kid's birthday party, the child absolutely deserves the edge. And they actually came with some really good, funny things. So that was an interesting, fun game. That was neat. And I've been working on a freelance animatic for a company called D-Tunes. I mentioned this on the Kyle and Luke Talk About Tunes podcast, and I've been so busy with MarsCon and working and just other things in my life that I kind of put this off a little bit longer than I should have for my span of time to work on it. So I basically bumped right up with the day it was supposed to be due, which was yesterday, and I've let them know that I was still working on it, and they're like, it's okay, feel free to turn it in tomorrow. And now here it is tomorrow, which is today right now, and I'm still working on it. So I sent them what I had done, and I let them know I'm still behind on this. I'm in a good groove, but it's it's not it's unfortunately not happening as quickly as I would like it to be. And I don't like making excuses and all that stuff. I mean, I have them, but I don't like I don't like being Mr. Excuse Guy. I'd rather be the guy who gets things done when they're supposed to be getting done. But anyway, I showed them the first half of what I was assigned to do, just to make sure that I was doing things the way they wanted, and I got feedback that yeah, they thought it looked great, and to just keep going, and basically that if I can get it done, by like the 9th, that would be great. And I'm like, okay, well, that's first of all, that's plenty of time, and that but it's in my best interest to have this thing done by the latest at the end of the day tomorrow night, so that because then I'm going to go into 4 days in a row of working ease shifts like during the day, and then I'm going to have a big chunk of time off, which initially was picked, and I initially asked for off because way back when we didn't know if MarsCon was going to be in person or not. So I asked for like 6 days off in a row to make sure to cover travel time and yada yada yada. And then we obviously got it ended up being a virtual thing, but I never went back and unasked for those extra days off. And then something happened. Well, okay, nothing happened with my car, but I took it in for an oil change, and there's some recommended service they as a part of my service plan that they thought I should get done. Oh, that was the other thing. Ironically, like all those spam calls that everyone gets now about like I'm trying to contact the warranty owner of the vehicle, like that happen all the time. So I actually have a situation where there was something up with the warranty on something on my vehicle, and they're basically offering to replace, I forgot which part it was. I want to say carburetor, but that just sounds like I'm pulling the first auto part name I can think of off the top of my head. There's one of the parts of the car is like, basically there was some kind of a recall, and they said, well, you can do this, you can do that, or if you can drop off your car and leave it with us for a week, we'll completely take that out and put in a brand new one, and we can call it even, and they won't charge me for labor or parts or anything. And I'm like, oh, okay, I'll do that. So since my job as the ease cannabis delivery person dude, like my job says that I can't use a rented vehicle or a borrowed vehicle. I have to use my specific car.
Yeah.
So I basically said like, oh, I already got these 6 days off, around MarsCon, and I'm like, what's the minimum amount of days that you could pull this off? And they said, well, if you could give us for 8 days, that would help. So I'm like, okay, I'll add 2 more on the other side of the week, so that'll be like a good 8-day span of time where I can drop off my car. They'll give me their loaner car, and I won't be ease driving during that time, because it'll be Wednesday, Thursday before MarsCon, and then MarsCon, and then the Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday after MarsCon. So I'm probably not going to be doing much driving. Certainly not, the 11th through the 15th probably. So anyway. So yeah, that's basically what's up with me, and all that stuff. So yeah, I think the point I was trying to make there was, I want to get this storyboard thing turned in, which I'm actually, this is, of all of the freelance jobs I've had, this one's been the most enjoyable. I mean, okay, the one I did for Gray, that was for an adult pilot, that was pretty enjoyable, but I guess since then this one's the most like, oh, this is a fun cartoony cartoon. They're not asking like me to do anything that I would consider to be like unreasonable or pain in the butt, and they're open to me adding my own jokes in, as long as I don't make it, it's like I have to keep it the same time they have it already set at to the audio, but if I can stick in other jokes, in there somewhere somehow, that they're all welcome to that. So yeah, and this will be a cool thing to put up on my my portfolio page, and it's just nifty and fun, and I might do stuff with them in the future. But that was the other aspect was, instead of using Storyboard Pro, I'm using Adobe Animate, which is the what the
Flash
program Flash turned into, and I did stuff with Flash back in 2014 2015, I think the last thing I did with Flash was that little bit of animation I did for the getting giggity with it part where it's like Doctor Who.
Yeah.
Let's get the TARDIS. Yeah. So it's like I knew the basics, but it'd been so long since I'd used it, and I certainly hadn't used the updated version. So I've been kind of, reintroducing myself to this program and the new version of it to do this in Adobe Animate instead, because I guess they're just going to animate directly over the storyboard stuff. So
Well, that makes sense.
So it's kind of like it's like learning that, cleaning things up, looking for new jokes to make, and so I'm finally in a good groove with it. But it's just I had so much other stuff going on that I miscalculated how long it would take me to get this stuff done. So I'm gonna try to get it all done by tomorrow night so that I can work for 4 days and then be MarsCon for a week. So yeah,
be MarsCon, Luke. Be MarsCon.
Yes. Be the MarsCon. Anyway, with you? We did a week and had stuff. What happened?
So I did a week too. So last Friday was my birthday, and yay. And we are terrible at planning things. I mean, my wife got me some stuff. She got me a new winter jacket, which I needed. I got the Super Mario 3D World with Bowser's Fury for the Switch, and I'm enjoying the crap out of that. And she got me a T-shirt that says, "Would you shut up, man?" But we are terrible at planning things. So at about 7:30 on Friday evening, my wife goes, "We should get cake." And I'm like, now you think about getting a cake now. Okay. Where do I go to get a cake? She's like, "I'll just go to ShopRite." I'm like, "Okay, fine." I'm like, "Wait, you're going to send me out to get my own cake on my birthday?" And she goes, "Yes. And then you can light it yourself and sing to yourself and blow it out." And I was like, "Okay, fine. You're going to be like that." So I went to ShopRite and I found a cake and I took it to the bakery and I said, "Can you write happy birthday to me in it?" And she's like, "To you?" I'm like, "Yes, to me, to M-E in like big block letters. Write that on the cake." And she's like, "Yeah, I can do that. Can I ask why?" And she said, and I said, "Because my wife sent me out to get my own birthday cake on my birthday, and I'm kind of a wise ass." And she thought that was funny. So she did it, and then she actually liked how it came out so much she took a picture of it for her own records. And then I took it home, and Jen took a picture of me with it, and I posted that on my Facebook and Twitter and Instagram and stuff. So you can find that on my feed. People seem to dig it. I think I only had like 2 pieces, and the kids ate the rest. So I may go get more cake just because cake.
Yes.
It's been an absolutely crazy week at work because I work in pharmaceutical marketing, and one of the new drugs is just getting FDA approved. So I'm part of the launch, and so it's just been kind of a crazy busy week where I've been, working late nights and, dealing with comma emergencies because, oh my God, we need to add a comma to this sentence now. Drop everything and add the comma now. So that's kind of what my life has been like. And I had a testicular ultrasound today, so that happened.
Whee!
Did I tell that story on this show?
I'm not sure.
Last November, I found a lump on my right testicle. And as I was examining it, I felt excruciating pain to the point where I nearly passed out.
Wow.
And then went to the doctor, and they said it's a cyst, and probably nothing to worry about, but they sent me for an ultrasound. And due to various miscommunications and things, I just finally got the ultrasound scheduled for today. So that happened. Probably nothing to worry about, but all I can think of is, you've got, from the makers of Shrek, testicular cancer.
Yay!
So if you see that show up on my Facebook feed, it's not a joke, but no, it's just a cyst. It should be fine. So we got 3 songs to get into this week. We were supposed to have Knuckleheadz on, as I mentioned. Unfortunately, Jax has homework, and Papa Stevie has to help him. So here is the song they posted to the FuMP most recently. This song was number 4 on the Dr. Demento show in January, and number 2 in February. I know it was 2 in February. Was it 4 or 5 in January? It was on the countdown and fairly high. So they have a hit on their hands with Peed in My Pants.
Hey, yo, Jax.
What up, Dada?
How many of them Capri Suns you had, yo?
I think I drank 14.
Oh, that's way too many. There's no way you drank that many.
Well, you drink all those beer wines.
Well, that's true. I guess last time what happened is I peed, drank too much juice, and then I peed. Felt the juice loose, and then I peed. Tried to hold it, but I couldn't. I peed. Couldn't control it, yo, that's right. I peed. I know everyone is laughing at me. H-A-J-K, element. I peed in my pants. 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 Me and Jackson's cooling at the playground.
You know.
Ran into a sweaty, had to lay down. Had a box of the Capri Sun. We drank the whole box, yeah, I know.
It was dumb.
Then after that we had a couple Cokes. We started laughing, telling knock-knock jokes. He said,
Knock, knock.
I said, who's there?
Interrupting cow.
Interrupted cow. Who?
Will.
I peed, drank too much juice and then I peed. Felt the juice loose and then I peed. Tried to hold it but I couldn't, I peed. Couldn't control it, yo, that's right, I peed. I know everyone is laughing at me. H-A-J-K, element of peed in my pants, I peed in my pants, I peed in my pants, I peed in my pants. I had some juice and a little bit of Skittles. We was about to open up for the Wiggles. I drank the juice and then I had a couple Mountain Dews. Everyone was hyped for our new single, baby.
Pew, pew, pew.
I thought we had plenty of time. Went to the bathroom and there was a big line. Next thing I know, they call us up on the stage.
Knuckleheadz in the
The
house.
crowd stood there in the daze cause I peed. Drank too much juice and then I peed. Felt the juice loose and then I peed. Tried to hold it but I couldn't, I peed. Couldn't control it, yo, that's right, I peed. I know everyone is laughing at me. H-A-J-K, element of peed in my pants, I peed in my pants, I peed in my pants, I peed in my pants. Gotta go, I gotta go, I gotta go.
Don't go.
I gotta go, I gotta go, I gotta go.
Don't go.
I gotta go, I gotta go, I gotta go.
Don't go. Just dance.
I do the pee-pee dance.
Just dance.
I'm trying to do the pee-pee dance.
Just dance.
I gotta do the pee-pee dance.
Oh, you peed yourself.
I peed, drank too much juice and then I peed. Felt the juice loose and then I peed. Tried to hold it but I couldn't, I peed. Couldn't control it, yo, that's right, I peed. I know everyone is laughing at me. H-A-J-K, element of peed in my pants, I peed in my pants, I peed in my pants, I peed in my pants.
Unmute myself. We're going to be hearing more from Knuckleheadz in the not too distant future. They've already got their next 2 FuMP songs planned, so be on the lookout for those.
The world's longest running comedy music concert series is coming from inside your house.
Wow, that went to a dark place.
Virtual MarsCon 2021 is taking place online for free on March 12th, 13th, and 14th.
Hi, MarsCon!
This year's event will have live stream performances by The Great Luke Ski, Devo Spice, Worm Quartet, Insane Ian, TV's Kyle and Linzilla, Ilnage, Beth Kinderman, Tom Smith, Throwing Toasters, Amy Englehart, an AMA interview with Ookla the Mop, and this year's music guest of honor, Robbie Ellis. We'll also be doing a virtual Q&A with the man who has been playing drums in Weird Al Yankovic's band for over 40 years, John Bermuda Schwartz. Drum solo! For info on how to watch, go to MarsCon.com, and for info on the comedy music track, go to MarsConComedy.com.
And do watch out for flying lobsters.
Thanks for listening, funny music fans, and I hope to see you all at Virtual MarsCon 2021. Time for funny music news. Something.
Okay, so I have nothing as far as news goes. So, Luke, you got anything to talk about with MarsCon?
One little thing, and I want to pull up the correct link for it. So, back, as I mentioned before, we were, for a long period of time, weren't sure whether or not MarsCon was going to be in person or virtual. So we started doing all the things that you normally do, like, oh, the artist guest of honor designs a t-shirt and this and that. And usually every year, the people who are the in-person at MarsCon volunteers get a free t-shirt saying like they were a volunteer that year that has a different design that ties into whatever the theme was. So they had asked me if I would design that shirt, and they had this idea of showing their alien mascot Snarky, who's like a alien, typical kind of green-looking alien guy with antennae, and basically kind of dressed up like Emperor Palpatine, but holding a plate of cookies, saying, MarsCon Forces of Darkness, I volunteered, they had cookies. That whole come to the dark side, we have cookies bit. So I came up with a design for them, and I sent it off to them. They said they were going to put it on a purple shirt and all that stuff, and I'm like, okay, cool. So then fast forward to much later, and we find out, oh, we're not doing it in person, but, we still have an artist guest of honor, and we still have these shirts, that get made every year. Plus the fact that there's a new wrinkle this year that because of the pandemic, Off-World Designs, who basically did the t-shirts for damn near every convention in the country, ended up, having they're basically retiring their business because it's been so long. And yeah, anyway, so that kind of left us with, trying to figure out, okay, how do we want to deal with these shirts? So we ended up going to the somebody else, not me, did a whole lot of research to figure out what our best option was, and the best option they chose was to put these designs up at the website teespring.com. That's T-E-E, and then the word spring, like boingy, 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 teespring.com, and if you go to teespring.com/MarsCon-volunteers, that's where the specific MarsCon volunteer shirt that I designed is located. But if you're looking for all of the MarsCon shirts, let me make sure I can find their correct URL if there's an easy way to say it. Where is the more products from MarsCon you might like? Okay, so yeah, I guess it's teespring.com/stores/MarsCon, and you can see there's t-shirts, there's hoodies, there's tote bags, there's a face mask, there's a sticker of a kind of green jello looking poop emoji that's all angry and stuff. They decided to make leggings. I'm not sure why.
Because they can. It's print on demand.
Yeah, I know it's print on demand, but still, it's like, I don't know. I just kind of feel somebody in the group said like, "Oh, leggings are popular. Make sure you have some leggings in there." And it's like, "Oh, okay." So anyway, the point is that you have options of things that you can order print on demand, and the bad news is that even if you order them right away, because I ordered them as soon as they announced the store, you're not going to get this stuff in time for the live online convention. So it'll strictly be a, after the con, or maybe at next year's in-person con or whatever, getting the Artist Guest of Honor shirt or the volunteer shirt. And, I basically did a post the other night saying, if you're intending to watch MarsCon, I've decided that makes you a volunteer and you're allowed to buy this shirt if you want to, and put out the link there. So anyway, again, teespring.com/store/MarsCon is where you can get those if you want to. I don't think I have anything else. I'm going to scroll through my feed to see if anything jumps out at me. Oh, wait. Yeah, last week was when you mentioned that Marky D passed away, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Oh, that's something else I should mention. So I put up a bunch of things about needing an OBS volunteer, and it turns out the OBS volunteer will be Abby, the person who has been our stage manager the past few years. I guess maybe there was some kind of possible miscommunication, because they had, from what I had heard, they needed me to go find my own OBS volunteers, but then somebody told Abby, "Oh, you're going to be, streaming all of, Luke's Com Music Track stuff." So I was she messaged me after seeing me put up all those notices saying like, "So do you need a volunteer or what?" Because I was told I was yours for the thing, and I'm like, "Oh, well, that Adam Sandler from News I could have used yesterday." I mean, not that it was a huge deal to make that graphic, but it's like, that would have, it was just like, oh, good, problem is solved, yay. So stupid stuff about myself. Devo Spice had a birthday, yay. Let's see. What is today's date? What was last Thursday's date? Well, whatever.
Last Thursday was the 25th. Today is the 4th.
Okay, yeah. Then I've gone back at least a week here. Okay. I guess I could say I put the I dug out and I knew I had it somewhere, and I finally found it amongst my various hard drives. The rip I did of the entire contents of my DVD that came out in 2006, The Ego Has Landed.
Yes.
And I definitely don't want to put up that whole thing as is. I may, when I have this kind of spare time, go through it and individually pick out, parts of it and put it on my YouTube page. But one part I had been thinking about for a very long time was me performing on stage Star Wars prequel Homesick Blues. So I put that up on my YouTube page. So now both Star Wars Trilogy Homesick Blues and Star Wars prequel Homesick Blues are up there if y'all want to see that, if you've never seen it before.
Wildcard says today's date is March 369th, 2020.
Excellent. So that's it.
All right. Tour dates. On Sundays on YouTube, Escape from the Secret Lab with Dr. Pinkerton. On Thursdays online, Steve Goody. On Fridays online, Carla Ulbrich. This weekend, the 5th and the 6th, on Zoom, Phil Johnson and Roadside Attraction. Go to philjohnsоncomedy.com for tickets and information. And on the 12th on Zoom, Phil Johnson and Roadside Attraction. And the 12th through the 14th online, MarsCon. Yay! Okay. Second song this week, the return of the Moneyshot Cosmonauts and Spaff's first appearance on the video podcast. So here is Romeo Responds to Taylor Swift, Love Story version by Moneyshot Cosmonauts.
Dear Taylor Swift, it's Romeo here. It's awfully sweet that you wrote about me in your song. But you kinda got the story wrong. First off, Tay, if you've ever read Shakespeare, I assume you would have to know this little tale. Ain't gonna end well. But you're the patron saint of the prepubescents who all wanna be Romeo and Juliet. So I'm just guessing that there might be plot points that they don't know. And since I'm Romeo, I've learned just how awful kids can be. That's why Shakespeare titled this a tragedy. Juliet's a time bomb, I'm just a fall guy. This is no rom-com, baby, we all die. But soft what light breaks through yonder window. It is the east and Juliet must be the sun. And now the one happy scene is done. But say I'm Romeo and you're the Scarlet Letter, throwing Uncle Tom's Cabin. What a Moby Dick, and you're my catcher in the rye, heart of darkness and fox in socks. So listen, Taylor Swift, I know just how stupid kids can be. That's why Shakespeare titled this a tragedy. She's got an ice pick, I've got cyanide. This is no chick flick, baby, we all die.
Yo, Taylor, I'm real happy for you, and I'ma let you finish, but I'm one of the best tragedies of all time. Aight? One of the best tragedies of all time.
Sorry about that. Your song gets tween girls sighing. Two young lovers running from an unfeeling town. The truth is horrifying. Let me recap how the bloodbath goes down.
Okay, so I killed Tybalt cause Tybalt stabs Mercutio. Juliet takes roofies and goes comatose. I run to her grave where I whack Paris to. My mom dies of grief and still we're not through because I decide Juliet is headed 6 feet underground. So I poison myself just as she's coming round. So then Juliet jams my knife into her chest. There's your love story, baby, we're all effed.
I am here with the illustrious Spaff. Welcome back.
Illustrious.
The illustrious, yes. I don't know how else to describe you.
I'll take it. I've never been described as illustrious, but never too late to start.
Legendary, maybe?
I'll do. Yeah, I like that. I like that. Illustrious, legendary.
Yeah.
I'm just happy to be here at all. So any adjective works.
Yeah, it's been a while since we've had you on the show, and I think this is your first time on the video version of the show. So
it is indeed. So everything is that's what we have to show from 2020 is Zoom now. It's just default for everything. We don't even need to get together in person anymore. We have Zoom for everything.
Yeah.
Just to say.
So the song you posted is an update of a song you posted previously to the FuMP. And I believe you said 10 years ago, and I was like, wow, really? Yeah, I guess it was. So give us the backstory behind this song.
Well, it really, yeah, it has been 10 years. So it's a parody of Taylor Swift's Love Story, which is a song that she wrote, a Romeo and Juliet themed song that she did many years ago, one of her first big hits. And we always thought it was kind of funny that she uses Romeo and Juliet, but makes it sound like this cute little romance, which it isn't.
Right.
Those of us who've read Romeo and Juliet know that it is not a cute little romance. It's a tragedy. It's a tragedy. So that was why we did the parody of it 10 years ago. Why we decided to redo it is because Taylor Swift has just started re-recording all of her stuff. And she just re-released a new recording of Love Story. It's soaring up the charts. It's already #1 on the country chart. And so it's a hit again. And so we thought, hey, if Taylor Swift can redo her version, then we can redo ours. So I tweaked the lyrics a bit, and Bob Emmett tweaked the music a bit, and Chris Mezzalesta redid the vocals. So it really is an update. So we just followed suit. We did what Taylor did, and we've got our response from Romeo to Taylor Swift's Romeo and Juliet song, telling her how it's really gone down.
Yeah. So do you know why she's redoing her songs? I hadn't heard about this until you posted your songs. I'm wondering if this is like a deal where like the record label owns her old recordings and she wants to put them up on Spotify herself or something to get more money or something.
Yeah, you're exactly right. It's,
okay.
I mean, you could call it a cash grab, and I'm sure there's an aspect of that to it, but she also wants to own all of her recordings, and she doesn't own her recordings of her first 6 albums, apparently. She's lost control of those, and so she's decided, instead of trying to regain control of the originals, she'll just re-record them all, and then she owns it all. So that's what she's up to.
Yeah, a lot of people don't understand that's kind of the way the music industry works, is when you sign a deal with a record label, generally they own your like everything, especially if you sign what's known as a 360 deal. They also get rights to your merchandise and all of that stuff. It kind of sucks. So
well,
yeah, I can see her.
You've probably had to deal with that. I mean, I've never made any money at this gig, so it's not a big deal to me. But you,
hey, I've paid you consistently over the years.
Well, okay, that's true. I tell all of my family and friends that I make tens of dollars a month at this, and that's fairly accurate.
Right.
So if you ever take all my songs and sell them to somebody else because of something I signed once upon a time, I guess I'll just have to re-record them all. And
No. You guys own all the. You guys, I don't know between you, Chris, and Bob, who owns what rights, but the artist with the FuMP, just to be perfectly clear, the artist retains all rights to the songs, except for the only right we retain is the right to put it on a FuMP compilation and then release it into the wild.
Oh, so we can't have that. We better
put together a the FuMP redoing songs that we've already done compilation. We can put this song on that.
Okay,
maybe for this year's April Fool's compilation, we'll do that.
A whole bunch of just rehashing old ideas, which is what we do, right?
That's what we're good at.
Yeah. So yeah, and we already know it's a phenomenal success, our redo, because it as of this morning has 1 comment on the FuMP. Yes. So I told Chris and Bob that 1 comment on the FuMP is a sign of phenomenal success. It means it's a runaway hit. It's gone viral. So
these days, especially because nobody comments anymore. So 1 is
what happened to that?
I don't know. It's kind of trailed off over the years as everybody moved to Facebook and stopped visiting the web in general.
Yeah,
that's kind of what's happening.
So how do people hear songs on the FuMP anymore? I mean, I'm guessing Spotify, right? That's
Spotify. We do post them to Facebook every time a song goes live. Ian does specifically. I think he also posts on Twitter. I'm not too active on Twitter these days. We try to get the word out, any way we can. And of course, Dr. Demento still trolls the site and plays, everything that he wants to.
Still love that, man. So I haven't sent him this one yet. I've been meaning to, but he's going to see it anyway, is what you're telling me.
Yeah. So if he wants to play it, he will.
All right. Well, shout out to Dr. Demento. I love that man.
Yes. Hi, Dr. Demento. So yeah, but if you have any ideas for ways we can spread the word about the songs on the FuMP, I'm all ears, because marketing is not my strong point.
Yeah. I'll think about it. I don't have any brilliant ideas. When I want somebody to hear one of my song parodies, I put it on the FuMP so that at least it has, a way of getting an audience.
Yeah.
So I'm happy to have the FuMP still as a resource after all of these years. Who knew that you'd still be hanging in there after? What year did you start?
2007. We started in
Okay, well,
7. So
that's impressive. Now. Back when we were just teenagers.
Yep.
So yeah, good job keeping it together for all these years. That's cool.
Same age as my youngest child. So.
Oh. Well, the FuMP's another one of your children.
Technically older, because he was born in October of 07. So.
That's how you can keep track, though, at all times.
Yeah.
Well done.
Cool. So what have you been? You haven't talked to you in a while. What have you been up to?
Well, for my job, I travel to conferences and do trainings and trade show type stuff. But because of COVID, there are no conferences.
Yeah, I was gonna say you can't be doing much of that these days.
No, so that's kind of not happening right now. So I'm just like everybody else, waiting to get vaccinated, waiting for things to start happening in person again. I have this thought about 2022. I think it's going to be the best year ever for live music. It's just going to be great because every band in the world will be on tour and audiences will be out there craving live music. So anyone you want to see, any living band, and maybe some dead ones too, will be on the road next year, and it'll be awesome. 2022 will go down in history as the best year ever for live music. Mark my words. I'm looking forward to it. I hope I live that long.
So I hope that starts in August of 2021 and then carries into 2022.
For sure. Yeah, for sure. I wish it would start now, but not yet. But roaring 20s all over again. People have all this pent up emotion and creativity and just need to get out there and be with people. I made those comments about Zoom replacing everything sarcastically because it doesn't. It's just not the same as being with people.
Yeah.
So
we're getting ready to do virtual MarsCon in a couple of weeks, and it's like I really miss those people. I miss hanging out in person with them. It's not it's not going to be the same.
Yeah, it's nice that we have the technology to have a pseudo replacement for the stuff we're missing out on. We live in, as Paul Simon said, these are the days of miracle and wonder. So the fact that we can see each other and talk to each other anyway is pretty cool, but it's just not the same as, we're social creatures, we're social animals. We need to get back out there and be together. And I'm looking forward to that very much.
I am too. As much as I enjoy working from home, I would like to be able to go somewhere once in a while,
Yes, anywhere.
Yeah. All right. So do you have anything you'd like to plug?
Well, obviously this new Moneyshot Cosmonauts song called Romeo Responds to Taylor Swift. For those of you who are watching this have probably heard it already. If you haven't, go listen to it. I'm really happy with how it turned out. And then to get a little deeper into the weeds, I'll tell you what the Moneyshot Cosmonauts are working on for the remainder of this year. And that is also 10 years ago, we started a full album Christmas themed parody of Pink Floyd's The Dark Side of the Moon.
Oh, you're finally finishing that. All right.
Ours is called The North Side of the Pole. We've done about half of it so far, and it's in bits and pieces on the FuMP. If you go look under our artist name.
4 and 5 are up there.
3, 4, and 5. I forget how we titled them all, but one of our goals for 2021 is to finish it. So
nice.
We'll see.
Release it on vinyl.
Yeah, actually, yeah. Chris wants to put out a vinyl edition.
Of course, Chris wants to put out vinyl.
Yeah, the first thing he ever released was vinyl, and I think he just wants to put everything else on vinyl too. And I like vinyl, so I'd be happy to do that. I just don't know who's going to pay for it. It can't be cheap to put out an album on vinyl.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it depends. If you're putting out like 20 versus 1,000, there's a huge difference.
Well, I hope that we get up to the point where there are 1,000 people who would buy a Moneyshot Cosmonauts album on vinyl, but I think we're probably closer to 20 right now. We'll see what happens this year.
All right. Well, best of luck with it. I hope you guys get it done because I will be one of those 20.
All right. Well, thanks, Devo. Tell you what, whatever it costs, if you'll pay half, we'll make sure that you get a complimentary signed by all 3 of us too, because that's important.
I don't think that's a good deal, but I'll have to think about it. All right. Well, thanks for joining us.
Happy to be here. Good to see you again. Hey, everybody out in FuMP land. Good to see you too, kind of, sort of. Maybe MarsCon or FuMP Fest next year, 2022. That's the year.
All right, take care.
You too.
Making the internet absolutely ridiculous. Dementia Radio.
www.dementiaradio.org. Port 8027.
Please hang up and try again.
This is the part where there's feedback.
Feedback.
Feedback. You know that segment of the show we do about now?
Feedback. Feedback.
Feedback.
Unmute. I'll remember one of these times. It's tough when you're on mute for 15 minutes, then you forget. All right. Feedback. Hamnerhack wrote, the Funny Music Podcast, where you present 2 fairly political songs, so naturally you talk about your horror movie man crushes. Also, Luke, just a few days ago, I too became a member of the recently departed Tooth Club. I feel for you, brother.
Well, my tooth will eventually be reparted with me, so.
And Wacky Ben wrote, Jeff and Devo, you guys were lucky enough to meet Robert Englund and get in contact with some others in horror. I've yet to meet Robert Englund, and the closest I've had to horror personality contact was Kelly Maroney from Chopping Mall and Night of the Comet. An Instagram post like from Felisa Rose of Sleepaway Camp, and a Christmas greeting from composer John Massari when he liked my Killer Clowns Christmas t-shirt. After the pandemic ends, I'm definitely checking out horror conventions and hopefully meet some of the personalities. Yeah, there used to be Fangoria's Weekend of Horrors. I don't think it's still a thing because Fangoria magazine is no longer a thing. But there are other conventions. In New Jersey, we actually have one that happens twice a year called the Chiller Theater Convention, which I always forget about because they are terrible at marketing it, but they have a lot of great guests. So yeah, look and see what's in your neck of the woods. All right, that is it for feedback. And we have a 3rd song and a 2nd interview this week. Here is the latest from Brian Woodbury. This is Jury Duty.
I got a notice in the mail today that caught me up short. A summons from the Maricopa Criminal Court. Like every other time, I decided to ignore it. Talk about lame. So I shoved it in a drawer with my spare rubber bands. Out of sight, out of mind, definitely out of my hands. Cause anyone with half an IQ understands how to play that game. Give me a break. Only suckers and fools and cranky old men serve jury duty. Not people like me who get up at 10, not jury duty. I got something to do and places to be, not cooped up inside. I've got to be free. Well, it may be for you, but it isn't for me, not jury duty. I won't go bowing down or kowtowing to the man. I don't recycle any kind of bottle or a can. I'm not what you would call a civic duty fan. I blaze my own trail. Any damn day I please, I'm gonna water my lawn. Never use my blinkers, I leave my brights on. No one's gonna make me a government pawn. Keep your summons out of my mail. Don't tread on me. Only people with too much time on their hands do jury duty. Only people who've got no significant plans do jury duty. I got places to go and people to see, not stuck with some upright citizenry. It might do it for you, but it doesn't for me, not jury duty. Since I knew I'd probably never get him to exempt me, I returned the next summons the bastard sent me with a fabricated forwarding address in Tempe. Psych! But a couple months later, illegal U-turn. The cops pull me over, no cause for concern till they run my license and come to learn. The fake address I'd given turned out to be a crack house under FBI surveillance. I wouldn't cop a plea, but now, alas, I see only suckers and fools and cranky old men are doing jury duty. Only jerks who enjoy putting folks in the pen are doing jury duty. Their hearts are all stone, they laugh at my tears, they're locking me up for 25 years. I don't understand why there's none of my peers doing jury duty. They put me away and toss out the key. I'm cooped up inside, I'll never be free. If only there'd been more people like me doing jury duty.
All right, I'm here with Brian Woodbury and Phil Ward. Welcome to the show, guys.
Thank you so much.
Thank you very much.
So welcome back, Brian. And Phil, why don't you tell us why you're here?
I was lucky. Brian Woodbury, someone who I have adored for years as a very fancy pants singer-songwriter and composer, asked me if I'd do a co-write with him. So I've completely ridden his coattails onto this show.
Oh, okay. So whose idea was this song?
I think it was my idea originally, and I wasn't really quite sure what to do with it, and so I brought Phil aboard.
Yeah, we felt the same way when Brian brought up the subject. It turned out, so it was kind of a natural co-write.
So was this
we feel strongly
actual dodging of jury duty event?
of other people doing it? Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it's, jury duty is one of those things that you don't like to do, but that you kind of are supposed to do because it's a duty. They don't call it a jury pleasure cruise or anything. So
they don't call it a jury suggestion.
Yes.
And also, in the last few years, we've heard so many stories about, horrible decisions, Gesundheit, horrible court, juries acquitting cops who've killed young black men and, unarmed black men, and
those cases don't even get to trial. They don't even.
Well, but when they do, it's hard to convince juries, and part of that is the more maybe sympathetic, more responsible people, the more people who are going to sort of judge this sort of less whatever the cops say, don't go to jury duty as much. So, I mean, it's only a small part of the issue, but and I've never served on a jury, and I've gone in but never been selected for a jury. So, I think it's one of those.
Same here. Me too, and I would love to. I honestly would love to.
I would too.
And I cannot friggin' get impaneled no matter what I do. I try so hard.
It's because we wrote this song.
I don't like the beard.
I would change it. I would do that. I would change it. Take off an earring, shave a beard, anything.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've never sat on a jury either. I was called in once when I was like 19 or 20, I think, to serve on a case about a stripper who was murdered, and who the owner of the strip club took out life insurance on all of his employees, and the life insurance company was refusing to pay because they claimed it was a suicide. It wasn't a murder. So that's what the case was about. I got out of it because they asked me how I felt about insurance companies, and my father's a doctor. I don't like insurance companies.
Did you just say my father's a doctor? And they said
basically, yeah. I was like, look, because of these people, my father's salary has gone down every year for the past 15 years, and blah blah blah.
Yeah.
I've seen my father try to fight to get his bills paid, and they were like, all right, thank you, you're dismissed.
I've never even got that far. I've never even been interviewed, as far as I can recall.
Oh, really?
Yeah. And I go and sit there all day in the jury room, and then I'm one of the ones they say can go home.
Yep. Yeah.
Brian and I are in Southern California, so we kind of got in on the ground floor of the current wave of jurors dismissing the actions of cops. With Rodney King, we were watching in horror when the Simi Valley jury dismissed Rodney King's cops.
It's a serious subject, and so of course we thought it'd be good to do a funny song about it because. What are you going to do? Nag people? You really should go to jury duty. I know it's not fun, but you should do it.
It's hard to, when it's a subject that crucial, or even, you could write songs about way more crucial subjects. It's hard to keep in mind the time-proven adage that approaching it with humor is a really effective way to do it. You want to just scream, but you got to try and giggle instead.
Yeah, satire can be very effective if it's done properly. And I really enjoyed this song. I think it came out really good.
Well, thanks.
Thanks a lot.
So nice work with it. Do you guys work together a lot?
We've played a show or two together, and I've seen Phil perform several times, and
Same with me.
big fan of his very funny, insightful songs. And
when we've shared the stage, we've occasionally said, "Hey, Brian, come play the guitar."
That's right. That's right.
This is our only co-write so far.
Yeah, this is the first time we've written together.
But look, it got onto your show, so I assume it's not our last co-write.
That's right.
So, Phil, are you a musical comedian, or do you do like normal serious music?
No, I cannot. Unlike Brian, I cannot make anything come out of me other than humorous songs. So I just bill myself as a humorous songwriter or a guitar comic, sometimes called a guitar comic. And that's what I do, man. I can kind of straddle the world of comedy clubs and music clubs and just play funny songs on my guitar. And but then people go, "Oh, that's great. What else you got?" And the answer is nothing.
Yeah, we've talked about that whole issue because Henry Phillips, who was our guest of honor at FuMPCast a couple of years ago, says he has this bit where he says, I like to think that I have, 1 foot in the comedy door and 1 foot in the music door. And I'm just kind of sitting there dry humping the wall between the two doors, not getting anywhere.
I can tell you where I bombed thinking that I was going to do great was for years and years, I was angling to get on a cruise to be a cruise ship entertainer.
Oh, really? Okay.
Yeah. And finally, my demo hit the right person at the right time who needed a guitar comic to replace someone who had bailed, I guess. And the Disney Cruise Line said, "Come on, we need a guitar comic. Come do this cruise." And they did not like me. That was a lesson in humility.
Really?
Yeah. I thought the shows went fine. As far from the stage, I was like, "This is great. I'm rocking it." And then afterwards, they were like, "We won't be needing you again."
Is it the audience that didn't like you, or the staff, or like
the staff knew that I wasn't doing what Disney wanted me to do. They were kind of sympathetic and like, and apparently, while I was performing, people were not buying enough drinks, and that makes you bad. You're bad.
Interesting. I didn't know there was a laugh to drink ratio you had to maintain. But
and no one told me either. I would have tried to hit it.
I tried once to get on the cruise ship route, and it was probably for the best that it didn't work out because I don't think my stuff would have gone well on a cruise ship. But the audition was terrible because they gave me 90 seconds to get up there, and it was like, how do I cut one of my songs down to, because I'm not a guitar comic, I perform with a backing track, and I was like, okay, so I have an intro and then the song. And then I'm like, by the time I get to the first joke in the song and the 90 seconds is up, and it's like,
oh no.
So yeah, that didn't go well.
Yeah. It's a good life. I think there's people who are making a lot of money and seeing a lot of the world. I got to see a little bit of the Caribbean. That was nice.
That's cool.
Yeah. Wow. Got to eat a lot.
Yeah, I can imagine. Yeah, that was the other reason I'm probably best it didn't work out for me, because I would have gained so much weight on the cruise.
Your Caribbean 15.
Yes. That's right. Or 55, more likely.
Brian's looking great here. He's got instruments hanging on the wall behind him. I've just got a window.
He's coming to us from his igloo. He's got his
That's right.
got his heavy jacket on.
And my banjo and mandolin to keep me warm.
Don't do it. Don't use them to keep you warm.
Yeah, don't burn them. That's not a good use of your instruments.
And you're in New Jersey, right, Tom Rockwell?
I am in New Jersey, yes. Where it's snowy, and it was like up in the 40s for the past couple of days, and now it's like in the teens again, and it's cold, and I'm not liking it. And I've gotten a taste of warmth, and I like it, and I want to come back.
You're like the boat in the Perfect Storm that almost makes it out of the storm. I won't spoil it any further than that.
I've seen that. So do you guys have anything you'd like to plug?
Brian?
Well, I've got, albums up the wazoo. This is the one that this song is from. It's called Antipathy and Ideology, and it's mostly like political songs about political things, with 2 funny songs on it, and including, or maybe 3, but this one is Jury Duty is the one that we're
some of the songs are they funny, are they serious? It's kind of salt to taste.
Yeah, and some of them are very earnest, and not funny. So,
Brian, how many albums did you put out in the last 12 months?
Oh, well, thank you for asking, Phil. I put out 3. I do want to plug one other thing. If there are any prog rock fans in the audience, I'm earlier on one of the earlier albums I put out last year. I did a song called "Give Me Some of That Old Time Prog," and if anybody's into that kind of music, this is a send up of 70s classic prog, and it pulls out all the stops.
How do I not have that?
You got to see the video. You got to see the video. Go on YouTube and look for Old Time Prog.
I will. And you just use pulls out on the stops in the literal way that it came from.
Yeah. You mean from an organ?
Yeah, like a Hammond B3 organ playing prog rock.
That's right.
Yeah. So Brian's put out 3 albums in a year. I've only put out 2 in my entire life, but I am working on a 3rd.
But they're awfully good.
Oh, thanks, man. And you can find everything at philwardmusic.com.
When is your new one coming out?
I confidently expect it any time before the end of this decade.
All right.
Yeah.
Sounds good. We look forward to that.
Thank you.
Are your first 2 albums up on Spotify or anywhere people can hear them?
They were. I've been lazy about it. After CD Baby stopped selling albums, I've had to scramble. And Brian tells me that Bandcamp, right, is the way to go.
Yeah,
so,
Bandcamp's great.
Yeah, my next move will be to jump over to Bandcamp. But just going to philwardmusic.com, you can get you the albums.
Okay, cool. All right, guys. Thank you for joining us.
Thank you for having us.
We look forward to any other monstrosities you 2 may be coming up with together.
Good word for it. Stay warm.
Take care.
Teasing. He's a teasing kind of guy. Now you have a job.
Yeah. Teasing. I didn't forget to unmute myself. Tomorrow's song is by TV's Kyle.
Hooray, TV's Kyle. Woo!
And Tuesday's song is by a side project from an old artist. So you'll have to stick around and find out who that is.
Mm-hmm. Word.
And tomorrow's playlist topic is superheroes. Speaking of which, there's a post on the FuMP's Facebook page asking for topic suggestions for future playlists. And superheroes, somebody suggested, I think it was Jeff Whitmire, because of WandaVision's finale. Unfortunately, his WandaVision song isn't up on Spotify yet, so that's not on the playlist. But I have a whole playlist of superhero songs going live tomorrow. And so if anyone else wants to make suggestions for topics, I would appreciate it, just so that I have to burn fewer brain cells. All right. Knuckleheadz you can find them online, spelled Knuckleheadz with a Z. Moneyshot Cosmonauts are on the FuMP. They don't have their own website or anything. Brian Woodbury is at brianwoodbury.com, and Phil Ward is at philwardmusic.com. Luke, you got anything else?
Just, mark it on your calendars. Virtual MarsCon 2021's coming up the weekend of March 12th, 13th, and 14th. The viewing place will be YouTube. Each one of the days will have its own YouTube link, and once those links are set up and established, I will be posting them on the website and letting people know where they can go to find them. So, yeah.
All right. Let's get out of here. Thank you for listening to the Funny Music Podcast. I'm Devo Spice.
I'm Luke Ski!
And there was nobody else here.
Nobody!
Thank you for listening to the Funny Music Podcast. You can listen live every Thursday night at 10 p.m. Eastern, 7 Pacific at DementiaRadio.org and join us in the chat. Or subscribe to the podcast feed. Look us up on iTunes and be sure to leave us a review. Feedback for the show can be sent to info@thefump.com. The Funny Music Podcast is a production of FIDM Interactive, LLC, released under a Creative Commons share-alike license. Tell your friends. Tell your enemies. Shout it to random people on the street. And be sure to visit thefump.com for the latest funny songs. Tune in next week where you'll hear Luke Ski say,
"Hello, I am Whiplash from Iron Man 2, and I want my bird. I want my bird. I want my bird."